Hi, everyone. My name is Juanita. I am a mom of two beautiful boys, smart, kind, loving boys. My story today that I would like to talk about is um, first of how we came to have our boys, and then to talk about some of the concerns that we have as older parents. I'm 55, 56, who knows anymore, and my husband is about 61. So we had our first boy when I was 40, and so by the time he's graduated high school and everything, he'll be 58. My oldest boy does have some challenges. He was in labor for about 30 hours in distress, and we had inadequate insurance coverage for the state of California, which we didn't know, and so that didn't allow us to make a move to get an earlier C-section for him. My boys are adopted. Yeah, I might have missed that bit. We don't think of it much anymore, but yeah. So 17 years ago, our journey began. We were honored to be picked by this lovely lady in California. We had a lawyer who was a friend down there. He was born and raised here in Regina. And he facilitated adoptions, including two for himself. So we reached out to Ron as soon as we realized that having kids the natural way, or I don't really call it the natural way anymore, just having kids on our own was maybe not going to be as successful as we had hoped when we were married about 10 years earlier than that. So 17 years ago now, we reached out to Ron, and we got our dear birth mother letter and everything, and we were actually picked within 5 months of getting all the documents into the government, into Ron in California, into the California state of California, and we were picked by a lovely lady who was going to give us my oldest, which is great. We were very excited. I had gone down there a few times just to check in on her to make sure she was okay. Everything was fine. Everything was going very well. But unfortunately, when the day of Arjun's birth, he was in distress for about 30 hours. We had gotten the wrong insurance, so therefore we couldn't make an actual move to get the C-section pulled up quicker. And so we didn't really know that. And so when he was younger, when he was just a baby, he was easy. He was just kind of laid on the couch, slept. He was very alert to everything that was going around him. But then as he got older into his toddler years, he became delayed at everything. He was delayed in walking. He was delayed in talking. We had taken him to a gymnastics place to get him to teach him how to walk. He only slithered, which was the cutest thing when he crawled. He didn't crawl. He slithered across the floor like a little snake. It was so cute. And so people would come over and they'd be like, he's a little off. And I'm like, there's a door. Because I didn't like it when people told me that he was a little off. So I would invite them to my door. And then later as a toddler, then the signs began to show up. He was always, he liked things the way he liked things. He didn't like change. He would often have a meltdown. He would get escalated extremely easy. We didn't know what was going on. We're just like, oh God, is this a normal child? And then it was 3 years later, the same birth mom phoned us again to tell us that, we are picked for her next son that she was having later that summer. So we were just all excited. Now we had two for one deal. And so the oldest boy was 3 when the youngest one came along, and that's when we really started to notice differences. The younger one, he was happy and giggled and laughed all the time. And you never want to compare your kids, but you could definitely tell that there was a difference between the younger and the older one. And so we finally got some help. It was actually by fluke. Arjun started school um, in kindergarten, and we were lucky to get this wonderful, wonderful kindergarten teacher. And she knew right away, just with working with him, what was going down, and she'd seen it before. And she showed me some different tricks that we could use to, keep him focused, and just take away the chaos out of his life. I had bought him a one-piece skidoo suit, and then she said that's the best thing you could ever do, because other kids struggle with putting on, ski pants, a ski coat, all this stuff, whereas he's just boom, done, jumps into it and he's on his way. And so she really helped me understand a lot of the things that were going on, as he was becoming, a child, from the toddler. The toddler years, I think, were the most difficult, but that's what we thought then, but of course they weren't. We later had him professionally diagnosed with PDD NOS ADHD, which is a pervasive development disorder. And so it's not really Asperger's, and it's not really autism. It's kind of like the in between. They've actually changed the autism spectrum now to include it, and so they consider him very high functioning autistic. As my oldest grew, it became clear that we needed to get help and just further understanding, which I was doing. And it also became very clear that we're always going to have people that just didn't understand what was happening to him, what he was going through, and they actually magnified that problem. There was such a large amount of misunderstanding around it in his school, parents trying to get him kicked out of school, parents constantly complaining about him to the school and to the police, because he would have an escalation. Teachers not understanding him and just wanting to lock him in a room, which is, highly illegal, but really did happen. Kids bullying him and just creating, a very, very tough environment for him to excel in. And we were trying to teach him what not to do, whereas they were showing him what he could do. And so for a while there, he really took on their traits of, this is what they're teaching me, and I'm going to do this, which we're trying to say as parents, no, they're bullying you and they're treating you very badly, and you don't need to treat others like that. So that was it's been a struggle. I advocated, I shouldn't say fought, but it felt like a fight to me. I had to advocate to keep him into public school. I had to advocate to keep him into a special education program. I had to advocate for the teachers to be able to give him some freedom to walk down the hall. I had to advocate against parents, and the daycares. The daycare was the worst. The daycare director, she felt that she had a degree in child psychology, and pretty much knew everything that there was. But then when I said he's PDD NOS, she had to ask me what that meant. So that was kind of weird, but if you know, you know. So we really had to fight the entire system, it seemed like, just again because of that misunderstanding. And so this misunderstanding is really what my husband and I are worried about going forward into his future, as older parents. And the saddest part of him growing up was that he's so smart that when someone would bully him, or a teacher would lock him in the room, he knew what that meant. He knew that he was not liked, and that hurt him deeply. And then that brought on another escalation, because for PDD, you can't express yourself in your words. Um, you, you do your very best to express yourself in your screeching. It was very hateful. It was very harmful for him to live in this. And then we're on the other side trying to say that, you're perfect, we love you, and you're going to succeed at anything you do, which I truly believe he will. Now that he's into grade 11, going on to grade 12, there's still that, even 17 years later, there's still not a fully understanding view of what autism looks like. Autism is a mystery because it doesn't look like anything. You don't know anyone has autism until they become quirky or socially inept. If you think back to my era, they didn't often diagnose autism. They just said, oh, he was quirky or eccentric or whatever, and there was no help. So it's interesting how the last 17 years are going to progress into the next 17 to 20 years for him. Meaning, now that we are older, my husband and I are older, we wonder, if something should happen to one of us, who is going to advocate for him? And is he going to be at some point be able to say, dude, I'm autistic, but I'm not stupid. And to be able to advocate for himself. He has a very good argumentative trait, and he will die on the sword for his point. But that's not a good thing either. So that's now we're trying to come to a balance of where your idea is good and we want to hear your idea. But when you go into, when you're debating with someone other than me and your father, there are other ideas. And you have to accept them just like they have to accept you. So we're looking at that. We're trying to teach him that now. He's very scared and nervous and pensive about what is going to happen when he goes to university. So now we're trying to plan for university and for him to pick a vocation, because it's not like we're made of money that he can just go and hang out there. We know that there's a program called STEPS, and that he will qualify, and so he'll have someone taking him from one class to the next, which is great. But what about that first job? What about the first job, and they hire him on his smarts, and he's so smart, and they're like, yeah, you're the right person for the job. And then he gets in there, and what if he does get mad one day and has an escalation? He's not violent. He just likes to yell. It's more like Tourette's than anything else. Um, so, this is the concerns that we have. We don't want him to be in a group home. Although working at Eden Care, I've realized that the group homes are probably not as bad as my husband and I have pictured or have imagined in the last, 17 years. But still, we just want him to have his independence. It's not up to his little brother to advocate for him once we're gone. But it is up to the system to recognize, and it is up to the people to recognize and to have that understanding of what he's going through and what triggers him. And he's very easy to figure out what triggers him, because as soon as he starts to get escalated, his eyebrows go completely red, and then you can just back right off. But who's going to tell his boss that? And so and his professor. So these are the things that we're really concerned about. We're concerned about, the day to day. Where is he going to live? Is he going to get married? And unfortunately, the one thing about the federal government is, I'm very surprised that they're stopping the disability child tax credit at age 18. When most kids at 18, most of our kiddos on the spectrum at 18 are not ready to fly on their own. They're not ready to leave their parents at that age, although they want to, and you gotta love them and admire them for wanting to do that, but they're not ready. And because they are smart, they do eventually recognize it. and there are no programs. We will use ARC, the Autism Research Center here in Regina, as much as we can, but there are other kids in more need than my son. And so we don't want to overuse the system if we don't need to. But at the same time, I think what we're really asking for is understanding of the difficulties that he feels, and that when you cast judgment upon him, he does feel that. And he is smart enough to know that you are casting judgment on him, and that makes him escalated. And you know what? That would make me escalated too. And I think it would make you escalated as well if someone you knowingly was talking behind your back or giving you a hard time. So for us, we can say, I'm okay, I don't care, whatever. But for them, it's just hurtful. It just hurts them to the core. And then, the bad day turns into a day where I just have to go home. So these are the things that we are concerned about, the social programming, the public understanding, and just, his success. We want him to be greatly successful. And there would be better, bigger, and more programs available to him, unfortunately, if he was low functioning autistic. But he's not, and thank God he's not. We're going to continue to do what we've always done in helping him until the day we pass. And at that point, we're going to hope and pray that he is on his way to success. He tells me he's going to be the next Prime Minister of Canada, and he's going to have a dual role as President of the United States because he is dual citizen. Perfect. Perfect. Got to be better than Trump. So these are the things that he has planned for his life, and we are supporting that. And I hope when you see the next child that's walking down the street, having an escalation and screaming, and his mom's just got him by the hand and walking down the street quietly with him, I hope you'll realize that that must be a high functioning autistic child, and way to go, mom. Way to keep cool, mom. Thank you for your time. And thank you for your understanding. I appreciate it. And I'm very happy to be here today with the ECC. And we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.